back, and when we found out the topic was Say Yes to Yes, we have the perfect song by Carl Anthony, and this is called Life is a Dance. Now it's in 3/4. That means it's a swaying 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and of course we need audience participation. So Cahill is going to sing, and we say yes, and then we answer back. All right, you out there too. All right. So since we finish each other's sentences, I did that wrong. Since we finish each other's
sentences,
then if you want to add a little bit, you can tell who the comic relief is here.
All I can
Not
say
me.
is just be ready to sing along and say yes.
That's right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Welcome to life, we are glad you are here. Glad you could join in the dance. It won't be easy, but it can be fun. Why don't we give it a chance? Say yes,
Yes,
say yes,
yes,
say yes,
yes,
yes.
yes,
Say yes,
yes,
say yes,
yes, yes, yes, yes, yes. Life is a dance. Any way you look at it, all of our life is a dance.
choose your own partner and pick the best song.
Come now and join in the dance. I know that life is a dance.
Ah, you sound great.
Woo!
Taking what comes and giving your all. There are rewards for this. And what I become is in my command. I am whatever I wish when I say yes,
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 yes.
yes. Say yes, ah yes,
Say yes,
yes,
say yes,
yes, yes, yes, yes, yes. Life is a dance. Any way you look at it, all of our life is a dance.
choose your own partner and pick the best song.
Come now and join in the dance. I know that life is a dance.
May I have this dance?
Yes,
We have the lead when we follow our hearts. May I have this dance?
yes. Be the dancer, that's who you are.
Say yes,
Yes,
say yes,
yes,
say yes,
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 ah yes,
say yes,
yes,
say yes,
yes, yes, yes, yes, yes.
oh yeah.
Life is a dance. Any way you look at it, all of our life is a dance.
Choose your own partner and pick the best song.
Come now and join in the dance. I know that life is a
Sing along,
dance.
everybody.
Come now and join in the dance. I know that life is a
Just the
dance.
ladies this time.
Come now and join in the dance. I know that life is a
Just the men in
dance.
cyberspace. Okay, everybody.
Come now and join in the dance. I know that life is a dance. I can hear my guitar now.
That was really great. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Let's give him another round. That was really good. I love how you engage us. They're very special, very special. So good morning, everybody. Good morning. It looks like we got a little bit of rain. Yes? See, I got to say yes already. So the talk title is Say Yes to Yes. You know, when I think of this, what I really am thinking about is how God speaks to me. Am I listening? Am I catching the meaning? Am I paying attention? So when something comes to me, I have to go, oh, what is that? And I'm going to talk a lot about the process of tapping into that yes. So Ernest Holmes says this about creativity. I'm not sure if you can read that, but creativity is the act of expression, not product nor performance. Your life is a palette, and your dreams and desires are the medium. We are in the laboratory of the divine. What then shall we create? What are we going to create? We're creating even as we sit here, because we're thinking about things. We're going, what am I going to do today? What's for lunch? What are they going to sing next? We're creating constantly. But something happens in the process of creation, at least it does for me, is I do this. Please forward the next one. Is I hesitate. Anybody else hesitate, or am I alone? Oh, good, I'm not alone. What I find is at least for me, is that and I have an example of this, but is that I stop and I question the question. I question what's coming to me. And then instead of listening to what I would call the intuitive voice, you know, sometimes, anybody busy around here? I say that every week. Anybody busy? So we get an intuitive hit and we go, oh, I got to go do the next thing. So we don't always take in what's happening to us. We're not observing it, and we're not allowing the universe to unfold in front of us. So the yes becomes a maybe, or maybe nothing at all. Our affirmation today is, I know myself as spirit knows me, creative, unique, and wonderful. And yet I want to say we are so much more than that. We are so much more, but we hesitate. We tamper that down a little bit. So the question, when I was writing this, I thought, well, what is all that about? What is it? Why do we hesitate? What is causing me to hesitate when I hear the intuitive voice? And here's some things that came to me, for me, and see if they relate to you. Okay. How do I feel about myself in the moment? I can tell you 2 days ago, I did not feel good about myself. I was not having a good day. Seemed like every conversation I had was not the right conversation. It wasn't a good day. So that's something I think we evaluate. When we get that intuitive, I'll call it a hit, or that intuitive knowingness, sometimes we say, is it possible? Anybody doubt themselves, go into lack and limitations over whether can I do it or not? Another one for me, at least, is I ask myself, well, how do I feel in my body? I can usually tell in my body if it's something that makes sense for me. And if I don't get anything, my answer is I don't do anything. And I've learned this over the years, is don't just jump into it, is to, how does that settle with me? How does that work for me? Do I need more information? I have a story I'm going to give you I'll tell you about that one. Am I capable? How many here like to do things by themselves? How many here don't ask for help? So now I'm asking the question, am I capable? Right? Am I capable? And then the last one is, which I think is really important, is this my intuition speaking to me, or is it my ego speaking to me? So I'm listening to all those different questions that are going on inside me. The thing is we forget that we have a divine urge inside every one of us. Each one of us has that urge. It's who we are, it's how we are in the world, it's what's going on all the time. So and I don't know that everybody here recognize that divine urge? Do you know what's happening? Okay, well, I'm going to give you a little hand motion. So I want you to put your hands in front of you. Everybody online, you can do this too. And I want you just like it's an ocean that you're going, whoa. That's a divine urge. It's coming through you out into it wants to be expressed. And do it however works for you. If that's the way it works, that's good enough too. But it's a motion that's actually happening inside your physical being. And I don't know that we always get that. So if you're unsure, you can, it sounds a little weird, but you can go, reveal to me what it is I need to know. Reveal to me what it is I need to know. I know for musicians, they do this all the time. What is it? What's that next thing, right? What's that next word? What's that next chord? They're moving it through them. See, the thing is spirit is seen, that would be our demonstration, or as we observe each other, or it's unseen. It's still everywhere around us. It's still activating through us. So it's like really knowing that you are part of something much greater. No matter what the appearance of life looks like, you are a part of something greater. And when we respond, well, this is a sentence they put in the talk, but it's kind of cute. It kind of goes along with the song we just heard. It says, when we listen and respond to intuitive nudges and sparks, we dance with creation itself. We're in the dance. So here's a little secret about this. And I've kind of tested this over the years for myself. And the secret is that when we get that intuitive knowingness, I think it's a knowingness. We don't always act on it, but it's a knowingness, is that we're meant to press through this thing. We're meant to go and do it. And the truth is, it's not going to be denied. It's calling for us to be an expression. It's kind of like when somebody comes to me and says, I want to be a minister. You know what? It's meant for that to happen. It's meant for that to happen. And there's many other examples of that. But I'm going to give you my own here. But first, let me tell you a little quote here from David Walker. It's called, You Are Enough. He says, you are worth more than you will ever experience, but only to the experience what you think you're worth. You'll only experience what you think you're worth. So when you come here on a Sunday, you come here to know that you're worth more than what you think you are, because you're meant to experience life differently. So here's my story. How many of you have been to my backyard? It's about a half an acre, right? Lots of room. So I'm going to say it's at least 3 years ago. Well, let me just say this. About 6 years ago, I had a renter that moved. And he had left this huge, what I call a chain link cage, which he had a pig in there. Won't go through all that story, but the short of it is that I broke it down and I put it up against one side of the fence. So it's sitting on the left side of the fence, which is about half an acre, so there's a lot of room there. On the right side of my back of my property, I have a shed that I created so that we could store things, like lawnmowers and the lawnmower I get to ride now. Yay, I know. One that really works. John Deere, by the way, I'll give them a plug. Anyway, so it's on the right. Well, over the last 3 years or so, what has happened is everybody's stuff is in there. And I have no room. My John Deere is getting squeezed out. We have bicycles in there and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, about 3 years ago, I got this intuitive hit. I said, why don't you take those and put those over there and make this and do that? Oh, no, I'm not going to pay attention to that. Make more room, do more work. No, I've got to plant flowers instead, right? So I just pass by that intuitive knowingness that because I like to recycle things in my house, in my yard. If I can recycle and reuse it, repurpose it, okay, I'll do that. Anyway, so I'm going to say maybe 3 months ago, this intuitive thought that I had, snuck right back into, hey, why don't you take the chain link fence and make an extension onto the shed that you already have? See, I said, your intuitive hit must happen. It must express. So guess what? I'm making an extension now. Now, I want to say that it's not an easy card for me to do this. One, I'm trying to do it by myself. Two is not all the pieces fit together. I've got to take a side of a shed and then extend it out. You know what I mean? It's like it's not perfect. But this is they call it the creative journey. That's a polite way of saying God's going to move through you to figure it out. But the truth is God wants me to make this. Now, God doesn't make me or do anything to me, but that idea has now been birthed in me to do. So what I have learned is, since I'm doing it by myself, is I just take my time and I figure out the process as I go. So, which brings me to this month. If there's one month I want you to really pay attention to, is April, especially this year, because there's some really cool things are happening. We have made the lineup of ministers to speak, as you're going to get all three of us. You got me today. Next week you have Reverend Sherry, then you have Reverend Jerry, and then we have a special guest. And then we have a concert. But Reverend Sherry's going to talk about the creative journey and how we grow and how we, what I like to say is expand out of our comfort zone. Anybody in their comfort zone? We're going to nudge you out of that. So she's going to nudge you out. And she's going to be here. So I really would like to encourage even those that are online is please come. Please come so you can say hi to Reverend Sherry. You can also buy tickets to the concert, which we're doing today. And let's just fill up the seats. Secondly, the next week is Passover and Easter. And Reverend Jerry is going to give the talk on that. And he's going to talk about how our lives actually transform through our stories, and then ultimately how we start to recognize our oneness with God. How does all that story come to life in our lives today? Is for us to recognize our oneness. And then the fourth week we have Melissa and Z, who, in my opinion, are the perfect example of how to bring creativity into the world. They're like you guys, they're musicians, but they're two people that when I first saw them, I'm like, this is a weird pair. And I mean that, and if you watch this later, I mean that in the most loving way. They are two different people. They have two different skills, but how they have created to bring their lives together is really exciting. And, we are starting off their tour of California. So it's really exciting. I want you to be here. They're also obviously in the concert. And then we are putting on an amazing concert. I'm already getting calls from people that I didn't expect. So this is something you do not want to miss. It would cost generally, if you went to a concert today, in fact, I'm going to concerts today, and they're costing a lot of money. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of dollars. For $35 or some of the discounts, you can't beat it. So please, please plan to come. We're doing tickets today. But here's what I think is so amazing about these guys is that they are steeped in their spiritual work. Think about it. To create individually, and we have 4 acts that are going to rotate in and out, but to create, they have to be really steeped in the work that they do. And they create what I call incredible, touching music. Just like the music we heard this morning. It's like, yes, it activates that part of you that's inside of you. And I'm just really excited because I think COVID has had a toll on many, many communities. And I think it's time for us to get that feeling back, the feeling of community, the feeling of love, the feeling of oneness. And by bringing many different communities together, we can do that. So I'm hoping that you'll join us. Ernest Holmes talks to us from the idea of the macro to the micro, of our, and I'll say this, inheritance of the divine that we deserve. He talks about this. And here's what he says. He says, there is an irresistible, universal, and divine urge within us to be happy, to be whole, and to express the fullness of life. The latent divinity within us stirs our imagination and will proclaim itself through every creative endeavor. It has produced sages, saints, and saviors, and will, when permitted, create a new world in which war, poverty, sickness, and famine will disappear. That's part of our creed, is for that to disappear. So we're going to do a little short process right now. We won't be moving together, but in your own mind's eye, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. So if you're online, just close your eyes and just listen to my voice as I ask some questions. What I'd like you to do is to bring something into your mind that keeps creeping up. It's that old thought of something that you've been hesitating to do, and it just keeps coming back. I want to give you a moment to go into your mind and even ask, reveal to me that which, I need to know. What is it that I need to know that I can work on today? Then I'm going to ask you some questions. How do I feel about myself this morning? How do I feel about this situation, this thing I want to work on? Is today the day? Is next week? Just how is it I feel? What is it in this thing that I'm thinking about that I want to do or express? What's possible? How does it feel in my body? So check in with your body. How does it feel there? Do I need more information? Is there something more I need to learn? Something more that needs to be revealed? What is my creative journey here? Am I capable? Is this for me to do or me to hand off to somebody? Am I capable? Is my intuition talking to me or is it my ego? Let's do a little check there. And the last question is, what will it take for me to say yes? So I invite you to open your eyes. Just think about those things. Weekly I get a quote from a gentleman by the name of Richard Rohr. If you're not getting it, you can sign up for it. And he has some different ideas and thoughts, but what's interesting is that this week, this was in one of the quotes. It says, be not afraid. Because I think that fear sometimes stops us, right? Anyway, I love what he said. It was like, whoa, where did this one come from? It's meant to be my talk. He says, fear unites the desperate parts of our false selves very quickly. The ego moves forward by contraction, self-protection, and refusal by saying no. It's so profound. The soul, or the true self, does not proceed by contradiction, but by expansion. It moves forward not by exclusion, but by inclusion. There's so much truth in this, it's just amazing. What's important, I think, is the last two sentences. The soul or the true self does not proceed by contradiction, but by expansion. It moves forward, not by exclusion, but by inclusion. We're meant to move forward, to grow and to evolve until we move to the other plane. Clean and simple. That's our job. So if you're having a moment of not moving forward, being stuck, you need to contact us, because our job is to help you move your life forward so it feels good. So I have some ideas around how to support our yeses. And they're pretty simple, but they're kind of profound. The first one is to remember that we are how God is expressed in the world. It's pretty simple, but it's pretty profound. Without us, in physical form, God's ideas are unrealized. It can't be expressed. We touch lives. We influence hearts. We change things. So it's important when you're sitting there and you have the question in your mind or in your heart or whatever it might be, is that it gets expressed. I think as I age, I've become more expressive. More expressive in the things that I have a question about that I used to just sit back in the back and not say anything. I'm not afraid to do that quite as much. There's a little part of me, but I still ask it and always get in trouble, but it doesn't matter, right? The other thing is we have and have immediate access to God. None of you have to call me to get to God. You have your direct dial. And all you have to do is close your eyes. And I do this often when I'm kind of like feeling weird. I just close my eyes and say, reveal to me that which I need to know. And pull in that feeling or that oneness that I'm not feeling at the moment. So that's important. And Joel Goldsmith, who's one of my favorite authors, says, we must intentionally think and act and knowing that the infinite invisible, I love that, infinite invisible, responds to us just as it did for Jesus, Buddha, or Jim Carrey. And remember that, we live and move and have our being in God. And then God is living, moving, and having its being through us. There is a co-creation process happening. The second thing is, excuse me, is saying yes to yes. I'm going to cough. Yes to yes. I think we can all agree and know that we are co-creators with God, right? I'm going to cough again. I remember Kathy Hearn doing that too. We follow and there's a postcard or a bookmarker back there that has all the principles of what we teach here. And I think that all of us follow that. At least we try. We're actively participating at that level. However, it is our ability to say yes and imagine more is how things get expressed in the world. I think was it last week? No, it was 2 weeks ago we went to Disneyland. What an experience. I won't be back for a while. It was so crowded. Oh my God. We have a new system now. We're going to go really early in the morning instead of in the afternoon. It's just so crowded. Anyway, there was one ride that we did. You've all heard of, it's where you get on like 5 or 10 roads, and you're going through California. What's that called?
Oh, yeah. California Soaring.
California Soaring, yeah. We love that. We went on it twice. Anyway, before you get into that, to sit and then do that magnificent ride, is they have these pictures of people who are famous flyers, or who invented flying, or, Amelia Earhart. They have all these really cool pictures of all these different people. Well, there was somebody, I don't remember the gentleman's name, and I apologize, but someone from California, in San Diego, actually, who actually made the first flight, but never got recognized. And if it hadn't been from him, who actually did that, and I apologize, I don't remember his name, then maybe the Wright brothers wouldn't have made the flight. In other words, creative ideas build upon each other. So what we do is we build upon an idea to an idea to an idea. And so we don't need to get caught up on how it ends up looking. It's more about doing that which you're meant to do. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, good. Because we have gifts. Everyone here has a different gift. I could probably name them because I know who you are. I know who you want to be. At least I think I have a good idea of it. But it's important that we do that which we're meant to do. Ernest Holmes says this. He says, since we are dealing with an infinite power which knows only its only ability to do, and since it can objectify an idea impressed upon it, there can be no limit of our inward embodiment. Limitation is not a principle nor a law, but only the individual use we make of that principle. Our individual use of it can only equal our individual capacity to understand it, to embody it. We cannot demonstrate beyond our ability to provide a mental equivalent of our desire. So every time I think about this, I think about the guy who ran in the Olympics, or the woman who ran anybody in the Olympics. They have a vision of going across that line or making that mark, whatever it may be, and they've won. They have said yes. And so every part of their process of getting to yes is about the body, is about the vision of being there, is about the possibilities. It's all about yes. And yet, let's say we have a race going on, and there are two people that are right there. They're both saying yes, and at the last second, somebody says, "Well, I'm not sure." Exactly. What do you think God says? Yes to his, "I'm not sure." So we need to know that if we're in that place is the place of healing, the place of revealing, a place of going in there. And I want to say, do not be afraid to go there. Because when we go there, we dissolve that which is stopping us. Does that make sense? It's really important you get this, because it's so easy to go, well, I'm not quite sure. I think I'll wait till tomorrow. It's different if it's, I don't think things are in place. I know I can do this, and I'm going to move forward. Now I'm going to just watch it unfold. That's a different story then. I'm like, maybe not. All right. The important thing is that having conviction to be expressed in the world, to say yes to whatever it is that needs to be expressed, is important. And don't lose that. And I'm going to read this, but I'm going to read it just because I think it's important to say. And it says, our convictions and beliefs grow little by little. If you're new to religious science, or you've even been with us a few years, or if you've been here for a long time, learn to believe the stuff. And so it takes time for this to grow, and that's okay. Think of it, and I love this, is it's just a small seed that we're planting, and we have to nurture it. And we have to know that we have to nurture it, and we have to love it, and we have to have awareness of it. So even if you're new to this, you're not sure about all of it, all I can say is one step at a time, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I'm not sure where I put this. I'm going to bring this in now. I think I put it in a different place in my talk. But while I was in the midst of writing my talk, the minister's listserv came up with something that I thought was so profound that I would read the whole thing to you, but it'd take another half hour. But it's called From Whence We Came, Our Spiritual Ancestry. And it's about religious science and what we're really about. And so I'm just going to interject part of this because I think it's important for us to realize the depth of who we are and how we work life. Okay? So here it is. There's a light that lighteth every man's pathway. Your light belongs to you, for you are a candle of the Lord. Keep faith with yourself. Watch in the garden of the soul, and be not afraid of the stupidity that would crucify humanity on the cross of its own ignorance. For there is one who watches you. Christ, the Christ that is within you. Watch and pray, for the night passes and the day is at hand. The world is waiting for a spiritual sunrise, and you herald the new birth. Discover that the world is good. Realize that every man is an evolving soul. We do not deny this evolution. We merely affirm the supremacy of spirit and realize that evolution is but the unfoldment of something which has long since been folded. We are meant to evolve. And I don't know that every spiritual upbringing we're told that. I know when I was a child, I was never told that. I was just kind of hanging out day by day. And I'm here to tell you, we can't hang out anymore. No more hanging out. Okay? Oh, I did do this in the right way. The second part of this, I've said the second part. The third part of this is the universe has only one answer, and that answer is yes. Okay? Only yes. If you start doubting it, it's like when we do a prayer, practitioners, and we all do a prayer. I pray knowing. Now, I can pray that with someone else, but in 5 minutes, if they walk out the door and says, oh, that's not going to work. What's the answer? Yes. God only says yes. So when someone prays with you, knowing that it is a truth, it is what is possible, and just focus and moving in that direction. Neville Goddard says, our imagination is our connection to God. Oh, I like that. So feed your imagination, enjoy bringing forth and coloring the experience of what you want. So I'm going to encourage you to say yes by trusting yourself, trusting your desire, and to be more. Don't hold back. I have one last thing, and then I'll move into my conclusion, and that is that principle of yes is not bound by precedence. Does everybody understand what that means? Yep. If you don't understand what that means, I know I have some new people out here. What that means is we are never limited by the past. So, all right, everybody online, everybody in this room, how many people have made a mistake in the past? Thank you. Whatever happened in the past is the past. You can let it go. You learn these things because you learn these things. But they can't hold you back. If they hold you back, then it's a matter of coming back here and let us pray knowing that that no longer holds you back. It is just what it was, and it's over. I know when I was in creation of Om, I had a past. And one dear, dear, dear ministerial friend said to me, go create. Just go create. So for months, nobody knew what the heck I was doing. And here we are, 15 years later. Yay, yeah. So it's about creation. It's about trusting. It's about knowing. It's about not being afraid. It's about moving forward. So I'm going to give you some things to do. So if you want to write these down, you can. They're really good. First, it's go to God first. Go to God first. So ask Spirit what wants to be created through you. That's really important. What wants to be created? I know some of you are writing this down. If you need a pen, raise your hand. Go to God first. Secondly, choose an area of your life that's calling for change or even a minor shift. And write down in the present tense what it's supposed to look like now. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, but now. And be imaginative. How do I feel about this? So choose an area of your life that's calling for change or even a minor shift. The next one I think is really important, and it's so funny when I've done this before, and I remember doing this when I was going through ministerial school, because it seemed like everything that could come up would come up during ministerial school. But, right, it does, is to journal about old beliefs. And then after you've journaled about, dumping all that stuff that's inside you, after you've done that, write a spiritual mind treatment or a prayer, whatever you want to call it, right afterwards. When I was going through ministerial school, I was letting go of a business and a business partner, and it was very difficult. So it seemed like that creeped up all the time. So I would write out what was going on in me, emotionally feeling that all that gunk that needed to get out. Then I would write a prayer as to, here's what I want it to look like. And it really helped a lot. And then the last thing, which I think is probably one of the most important, is to celebrate all of your discoveries and your demonstrations. Celebrate when you've got it done. I should bring a picture in here of my new little shed, right? Yeah. It's like, it doesn't matter what size it is. It can be small, it can be large, but celebrate. What was it last night? Oh, last night everybody wanted In-N-Out. So I went to In-N-Out. Now, this never happens. Never happens. But once I got past Cuyamaca, I hit every light on the way home. And when I got in the driveway, I said, thank you, God. It just saved me probably about 5-10 minutes, and my French fries were still warm. That's a celebration. It's about knowing. It's about creating. It's about being okay with it. So I'm going to end with our affirmation. I believe I put it up there. And it's what I started with. And so what I'd like to do is what we do here is we say it 3 times. First time is just whisper, because I like to think that when we whisper, we're whispering to our soul. Second time is our normal voice. Third time is telling everybody. So I believe everybody online can see this. So you ready to do it? And then we'll have our music back here. All right, let's do it together. I know myself as Spirit knows me. Creative, unique, and wonderful. Let that sink in. Okay. Normal voice. I know myself as Spirit knows me. creative, unique, and wonderful. And I won't yell because otherwise I'll hurt them. But let's say it louder, all right? Ready? One more time. I know myself as Spirit knows me, creative, unique, and wonderful. And so it is. So it is. Thank you very much. Let's bring back Hay Hill and Delane.
Thank you. Wow, that was wonderful.
As you believe, so shall it be done unto you.
Mm-hmm.
With things being the way they are right now in the world, we thought this would be a good song to bring back. It's by
Sean Galloway,
Sean Galloway.
From Nashville.
And he's a Facebook friend, but we just love his writing. And this is called I Choose Love.
I can see laughter, or I can see tears. I see a choice, love or fear. What do you choose? I can see peace, or I can see war. I can see sunshine, or I can see a storm. So what do you choose? Now I choose to love with freedom flying from my heart where the light keeps shining. I choose to feel the whole world crying for the strength that we can rise above. I choose love. I choose love. I can see sharing, or I can see greed. I can see caring, or poverty. So what do you choose? I can see gardens, or I can see bombs. I can see life or death coming on strong. So what do you choose? Now I choose to love with freedom flying from my heart where the light keeps shining. I choose to feel the whole world crying for the strength that we can rise above. I choose love. I choose love. I see us healing, the darkness dying. I see us dawning as one world united. So what do you choose? Love or fear? Oh, we choose. Choose to love with freedom flying from my heart choose to feel us all united in the strength that we can rise above. I choose love. 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 I choose love.